Hi, my name's Robin Van Dusen, and this is the Think Aloud protocol for Act 1 of Stone Deaf Play. So this is interesting because she mentions that there's this struggle on how to teach deaf children, and yet that same struggle is still going on today. So it'll be interesting to consider in our translation what things were going on at that time and what things are going on now. I think those will both be pertinent to the translation because the translation is about that time, and yet our participants will be in the year 2008 and what's going on now. So I think that's really important. Also, I was thinking about when she said, she gave the different examples of the methodical and the natural signs. I had previously thought methodical was like invented by men, and so I had kind of been thinking that it was like the signs that were brought over by Gaudet from French Sign Language is what I thought they were talking about with methodical, but now it sounds like methodical is more like C sign and all of those other different things. So it'll be interesting to see as I continue viewing this source what else is going on. During that whole section, I was thinking about how differently the two of them signed. The first signer was very, should I say, methodical in the way that she was signing. Everything was very, you do this first, and then this, and then this, and it wasn't necessarily the easiest to understand necessarily. I found the second signer much easier to understand when she was signing, and she was using much more facial expression. The first signer just really seemed robotic, and so we'll have to take that into consideration in the translation. And then also the idea that you have to use methodical signs in order to learn English. That's also an interesting concept because maybe those students will be successful and they will learn sign language, or they will learn English just fine and be able to understand and read and communicate that way. But maybe as far as being able to communicate with other deaf people, maybe that's something that they won't be able to do, which is interesting because more than likely they probably don't identify with hearing people very well, and they may identify more with deaf people and not having the capability and the language to communicate effectively with the people that they identify with. That's an interesting concept, and it's important to have this background information and these kinds of insights when we're going into a translation like this. This whole situation where you have the two different signers pointed different directions, and then as they're switching directions, the interaction that takes place, that is also interesting, and I wonder if that would be included in the translation. Maybe somehow include that the two groups strongly disagreed, and I don't know, that I'm going to have to look into more. Would I include that in the translation or would I not? At this point, I'm not sure. Okay, so at this point, I think that I definitely maybe would include that interaction, because once they're both done, they give each other quite interesting looks, which I think communicates something. They're definitely opposing, and so that's something that I think will need to be included in the translation. I find it interesting that she says that way, the way she uses the sign, like, finally, because I think that there's still a struggle with that, and if we were to translate it a certain way, saying, finally, it's over and done, ASL is accepted, whatever, I think that the hearing consumers that we have who maybe don't have a strong background in the deaf community, in sign language, in all of those things, could take that the wrong way, and it may be a misrepresentation of what the situation really is.